Just before we start, we would like for a connecting for Nigeria. Maybe
But
you want
let me put on your video now.
you're connecting from
How many
Lagos,
people are there? Let me put
uh,
on your video. Everybody do this.
you're connecting from Abuja. Please just let us know wherever you're connecting from. You could just put it in the notes from. Thank you. Please, Beth, if you can hear now. I'm Oluyemi from Lagos. Thank you. Kemi from Abuja. Thank everyone really that's made out the time to join. And we will start right now. The hashtag for today is Child Psychology Conference. If you check your chat box, you will find it there. Please go ahead, take screenshots of this experience, put it up on Twitter, on Instagram, and just put the hashtag Child Psychology Conference. Okay. Therefore, okay, thank you for your confirmation.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I want to especially welcome everyone to Child Psychology Conference that has been organized today. We've decided to put this conference together because of the reach out to parents, educators, and caregivers, especially those that work with children. So this started some years ago where we realized that attention has not been given to how children develop in this part of our environment. Although we started fully in 2018 when we started focusing on child psychology after we've been able to acquire some skills and knowledge in the area of child psychology. So the focus of this conference or the focus of our program is to ensure that children experience healthy development in order for them to learn and create. So this conference is one of the ways we are able to achieve this vision. And the whole idea is to be able to empower parents, educators, and child caregivers to build their capacity, who in turn help the kids to develop properly. Because we've come to also realize that we cannot create a different society if we are raising our children the way we were raised and we refuse to change the narrative. So we want everyone to get set, get your pen and note, don't get distracted. The speakers are ready to do justice to the subject. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom. You can join us on any of these platforms. So I want you to have a wonderful time during this conference, and you are free to ask questions or anything that you need clarification. Once again, I welcome everyone to this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank God. Thank you so much, sir, for the opening remarks. Just to remind us, please, the hashtag is the Child Psychology Conference. So please feel free to go ahead and use that. In just 2 minutes, I'd like to take responses from a few of us. In terms of expectations, what would your expectations be today? If you could just put them in the chat box, but if you want to speak, please just raise your hand. There's a function that allows you to do that. Just raise your hand. I'll unmute you for the moment. But just wanted to get a sense of what are your expectations for this conference in terms of after all this, what do you think you look forward to achieving or information you look forward to learning? Put in the chat box, that will be fine. Or if you would like to speak, please let me know. Quickly unmute you.
And people in their brother even in Lagos, they write their name.
And resilient. This passion led us to becoming a physical education teacher to raise awareness on the importance of student well-being. Wanting to expand her classroom, she became a teen life coach to deliver coaching programs for families, schools, and communities. Through the Well-Being Warrior Project, Lenita currently oversees our youth organization, the Well-Being Warrior Project, and travels extensively across the world, continuing to deliver a message to young people. Please let's welcome Lenita, who joins us this morning from Australia. Thank you so much, Lenita, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to connect with all of you. It's exciting how we can connect through technology. I know I'm all the way from Australia, but I'm really excited to hang out today and get to know you guys, and vice versa, to get to know me as well. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and getting right into the presentation. But while I do that, maybe we can get you guys just jumping in the chat for me and let me know, obviously your name, what type of role and responsibility you have. Maybe you're a parent, maybe you're a teacher. I would love to know. So maybe over the next couple of seconds, just type in the group chat for me while I get my screen up and running for you. That would be amazing. I'll just need to be, okay, so I'll just need to share my screen. If I can get permission to share my screen, as I'm not the host, if that's okay. So we have a parenting coach here. That's really amazing. And do you have kids yourself? I'm assuming so. We also have a parent, first-time mum. Amazing. We have a teacher, a school administrator.
Where's my face? Where's my face?
That's really amazing. I'm really excited for that too. So as promised, I'm going to be sharing my screen with you guys. 3 adolescents. Will you be keeping yourself busy? That's for sure. I appreciate you in the chat sharing your experiences so far. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be talking about, this term that I've come up with in terms of the new class of influencers. In order for us to enhance the mental health and development of teenagers, young children, etc., both in our families and in our classrooms, we really need to kind of get back to the basics on some really cool strategies and tips in order for us to do so. So let's get right into it today. The intention for today is first and foremost, enhance the mental health and development of your children and your students. So feel free to take some notes throughout today's session as well. I really want to empower you all to bring the life, the love, and the joy back into your family and your classrooms, because working with kids can be quite hard. We're not given enough credit. Not many people understand how hard it is actually working with children. And sometimes they drive you crazy, and sometimes you just don't want to rock up to teach them. And I completely understand that. But we really want to learn the ways to amplify your teaching and instruction, and also get incredible results for yourself as the educator and the parent, or the parent, and also for your students as well. So this is what I'm going to be doing with you today, and setting the intentions, of course. Curious about who I am, who is this random person? All the camps, I've worked in schools, in churches, in community clubs, obviously are concerned with. And it really brought me to today, where I now step on stages, I travel around the world speaking to kids, existing platforms, by going to school, by listening to their parents. And if we are another forced angle, it's going to be very hard for them to understand and for them to actually take action. And so we really want to inspire them first. How do we do this? I would want to empower you to bring the love back into the education, bring the love back into the home, really try to connect to their hearts first before you throw out your instruction. because our kids are craving that support, which we'll definitely talk about a little bit more. And so today I want to share with you my 5-step heart model that allows me to connect with a lot of kids and get tremendous results for parents and their children. And it's a very much step-by-step practical system that I have in place. And it works in any platform, whether you work in schools, in churches, in sporting clubs, and also in families. If you approach it with this angle, you will see how much easier and simpler it can be to just support our youth today as well. I appreciate you guys obviously sharing your thoughts in the chat. Keep those comments rolling in as well. I really appreciate your engagement. So let me know if you're ready. If you're ready for the 5-step heart checklist, let me know in the comments. Say, yes, I'm ready, so we can get the ball rolling. And yeah, this is going to be something really exciting for you all. And so number 1, the first part of the heart checklist is understanding how to be humble in our approach. You know, being humble, it can be a little bit hard sometimes. We have a bit of pride and ego. You know, I know sometimes I can be a little bit guilty of that. But we have to really understand that when it comes to working with children, we are here to serve them. And our platform, our classrooms, our homes, they're not just about us. They're about what we can do for our children. And so that's something that I really want to heavily stress today is what can we do for our kids? And so when it comes to building our platform, we really need to give the children a voice. What do you want to learn? What have you been learning? What is it that I can actually do for you? Because kids today, they are craving to be heard. They want to be seen. They want to be acknowledged, and they want to be brought into the learning process. And so a lot of educators and adults are up here and they put the kids down here, but we don't want that. We want to meet them on the same level, and if anything, elevate them as well. So how to practically do this is to give them a voice, ask them questions, ask for feedback consistently, and actually tell them that you're here for them. Because it sounds easy on paper, but sometimes you just need to verbally tell a child that you actually care about them and that you actually want to be here for them too. So let me know as well along the way if you have any questions. But in terms of how to do this practically through body language, is sitting on the floor or sitting on the same level as children instead of standing up and talking down on them, because that body language says a lot. You know, your actions will speak louder than your words. So sitting on the floor with children is a very practical way on how to do this. And of course, with teenagers as well, this works really, really well with teenagers too. Although they're a little bit older than young children, they still resonate quite well with the fact that you're sitting on the floor and just, you know, getting to know them and not talking over them as well. Let me know if you do this already. Of course, this is something that I love to do. But a quote that I love to always say is, students won't care about what you say until they know how much you care. How much you care, they'll do so much more because they respect you and they care about you too. So let me know if this is resonating with you. If you agree with this, please let me know in the chat. But that's something that's really important for us to all acknowledge. Empowering. This is the second step of the heart model for you today. And so this comes back to, you know, really empowering our children to take action, because our kids are far to ensure that we're complementing their personal growth at the same time. Letting them know that we see them, letting them know things in their lives that they're doing really well. You know, not just about learning our content, but asking them, what did they do on the weekend? What did they get during the week that they achieved a win for the week? You know, and really bringing in their life into your lessons and into your conversations. Because remember, once again, when they know how much you care, they'll meet you halfway on that. And so complementing their personal growth is really, really important to lead with empowerment. How to do this practically? I love do this in any as well. All the time when small or big, let's actually have a wall of our room that we can see what they ask for any type of platform. And of course, instruction, you share your accomplishments as well. You all will be inspiring each other to become better. And when you help a young child get a little win in their life, even dramatically, which naturally will boost the mental health and well of themselves. So helping them get little wins and showcasing that, what's really important for them. Life. So we need our get with children. We need to come ready to be ready for us as well, because we learn a lot of kids too. You know, we're the teachers, of course, we're also too. The children can teach us a lot as well. The next one is, let me know how we're going, if we're good. Give a smile or emoji in but we're up to number 3 in our heart. And this is one of my favorites. Now this basically means, this is the favorite part of it, but it's probably the most as well, because this is about showing emotion, showing our authenticity, you know, how much we care about these kids, because they don't see it all the time. And how we do this is obviously getting practical once again. Well, the standard, so they can give it back to us as well. But one of the most hardest parts of this is sharing your testimony or sharing your personal story, because stories connect to people, whereas facts, they don't really connect on a deep. When you bring in your personal story into conversations with kids, they're more likely to listen, because children love stories. And so let me know if you are someone that always shares stories with actions when they hear your story. But if anything, I empower you to be a little bit more vulnerable with children. And if you're going to pour your whole life story and problems on them, just going to be a little bit more vulnerable to have, or with, you know, the world or personal development. And they can be with you so much more as well. I love the concept coming. So connect. Really, some students connect with your character. They don't connect with content first. We have to connect on a human level first. And when you build rapport and relationship, now enhance the mental development and educate opens, because you're connecting to their heart first before part of the which is being responsible. To some extent, of course, as teachers, we're quite responsible for the spiritual health and the academic performance of children and the mental health. And of course, they're responsible for the kids, you know, they're your babies. But we need to ensure that this is something we have to take responsibility of. We need to hold them accountable for their actions. So we've spoken about celebrating them and complimenting their personal growth, but it's also about getting on their level and being a leader in their life and helping them understand that you are, they can go to, that you're actually here for them. Dictate them and helping them and wrong, and have the tough conversations. Well, we need to be very practical, give them action. It comes to say it's not just telling them what to do. Actually, my lessons to your life. It's got enough personal life and their mental and well-being. And that little thing that you give them for the week, if you follow up in the following week, they'll know how much you care because you remembered about that little task you helped them do. Maybe it was to do with gratitude and prayer. You know, that little prayer they might have in the morning, or that little gratitude list they write in the morning. But that little thing that you help with their personal life, once again, when they know how much you care, they'll come back tenfold to give you even more. So practice steps is a really, really great way to hold kids accountable with follow-up. They will push themselves to excel because they want to make you proud. Children will do so much more because they impress. They'll do it for you because they love you as their mother, or they love you as their father, or they look up to you. Impress you appropriately. Just do things to impress my teachers because I like them. You know, it's not a popularity test, but these like you, love you, and respect you in order for them to actually do very well. As now, let's move on to the. Are we taking care of ourselves as parents, as teachers? So this is more of a personal approach for us leaders here today. Are you aligned with the work you do with children? Is this your true calling? Is this your true purpose? And if it's not, that's okay. We just need to acknowledge that. But for the sake of today, and I can confidently say they are witnesses, ensure we're being very, and authentic with them. So let's get practical always. You have to be a practitioner. You can't pour from an empty cup. So you have to take care of yourself. If you are preaching well-being or you are preaching, we're investing in spirituality too, and in our faith, because it's not enough to throw out words. Your actions, it's about also our health and fitness. Are you in a good stage with your health and fitness as well? Because if we're not, any little thing a child does that really annoys us, we might actually snap it and tired and frustrated or probably hungry. So we need to ensure that we are active practitioners of what we say to children, because we really need to avoid being hypocrites, because kids see and witness so much more than we actually know. So is aware of as well. Show kids how to live. Don't just, of course, if wanting, because they're watching you every day. And influence in a child, they're going to be looking at you all the time. They're going to be staring at you. They're going to be asking you a million questions, and sometimes they drive you crazy, but it's only because they just love and look up to you. They might look at you on Instagram or Facebook. They might stalk you online. They probably try to follow you as well. But that's a compliment, right? That's a compliment because they're looking at you. So really, really important. Show kids how to live. Don't just tell them, because they're looking at you all the time and witnessing you. We have some really great comments as well, which I'll address in a few seconds. And so you are an open book, especially in the faith, in the spiritual. You know, if you're someone that lives your faith, for a lot of you too, you may be the only Bible that a lot of children will ever read in their life. Or you might be that only book that children will ever read in their life. And so really ensure how you live and how you show educator or as a parent is really, really important. Yes, very true, Christy. We should represent what we teach. Yes, I couldn't agree more. And so this is my 5 step, being empowered to the basics. Because if we don't lead with our heart and we lead with our head, we're going to be horrible to be around. We may come across as egotistical. We might be a little bit annoying to listen to or dreadful to watch, because children zone out straight away. And so instead of leading with your head all the time, lead with your heart, and you will see and you'll witness how easier it is to get tremendous results for kids, because we're just building human connection with them. And I guess, you know, learning about today and coming back to why are we in this? Why are we serving children? Remember that one child that you want to, you want to emotionally connect to, that one heart, that one soul, you really want to enhance their life. But it comes back to just getting back to the basics. Please, number 2 again. Let me know, Mary, did you miss something through the slides? I'll go back to that as well. Let me know if you've missed anything. But Yomi, you said, especially adolescents, they tend to want to see that we are trying to do what we say we believe in and are more ready to challenge us when we are not. Yes, kids will challenge us every single day. So we need to be ready for that. But remember, if we're not always ready, it comes back to being vulnerable and authentic. Don't try to hide your imperfections. If anything, talk about it, because children connect to our imperfections. They don't connect to perfection, right? We don't connect to the perfect filtered images on Instagram. We connect to the real authentic people who don't hide behind filters. They're just a real person. So same thing for our children. So what will you do differently moving forward, or more of for children? Maybe let me know in the chat box. What will you do differently or more of with working with kids? Are we going to, embed this heart model? Let me know, actually. Type in the chat. If you're a fan of this heart model, type in heart for me. And you're going to obviously start embedding that into your classrooms and into your teachings as well. Maybe a takeaway that you've learned today. Maybe it was one thing, one little thing that you really liked today. Was it being authentic, or was it leading with inspiration? Let us know those 1 or 2 takeaways that you found really quite, inspiring for yourself. Okay, we might go back in a few notes as well, depending on time. But we've got heart, empower them to take action. Definitely, as long as we help them implement. Right? They're not going to remember everything we say, but as long as we empower them to take action, that's really, really important, because that's the difference between knowing everything and actually achieving results. That gap is, taking action on that. I will get an accomplishment board for my daughter. Oh, amazing. That's amazing. And that's, you know what? You find out so much about kids when you start showcasing their accomplishments, and you'll be quite impressed. You're like, you know what? I probably didn't even know she was up to that. So that's really exciting. Exactly why we may have to be role models. We are not perfect. And sometimes we have to say sorry to the children. And oh, yes, and adolescents. Yomi, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but that is such an important point. Saying sorry is very powerful. acknowledging sometimes when we stuff up for kids, they will respect us so much more. Listen to them and give them a smile. Love that so much. Yes. Leading with inspiration, David, leading from the heart. We also have making kids accountable, being an open book for the young to emulate. Transparency is important. Yes. Don't try to fake it. Remember, we're not here to just be filtered. We're here to be raw and honest. I'll definitely start being more deliberate, raising them, interacting with them with my heart and not my head. I love that so much. Bringing their social life into teaching and learning processes as a teacher. Yes, like even us too. If we are bored with what we do, the kids are most likely going to get bored as well. So let's bring in their social life and their day-to-day activities. Empowering my kids and being more responsible. Points 2 and 3 resonate with me. Empowering, being authentic. Thanks, Nettie. I appreciate that. Lead with heart. Helping them and giving them accountability. Awesome. Be humble, be a servant. I'm loving these comments, guys. Thank you so much for this. But I'm glad that you're resonating with this. The point you said, children don't connect with content first, they connect to our emotions. It's so important. We are human beings at the end of the day. And if you just get this right, everything else will be taken care of. Kids will really put in the hard work as well. And same thing for you, for our mental well-being, which is awesome. And so let's move on. I would love to connect with you all before we obviously get into Q&A or, in terms of the comments. If you are on Facebook or Instagram, you of course can connect with me there. I have a free Facebook group with my network of youth coaches and youth speakers. So it's a free group on Facebook. If you are wanting to enhance your work with children, you want to become a coach or you want to become a speaker and you want to speak in schools or conferences, then you're most welcome to join us on Facebook. If anything, you can get that up and running now. Log into Facebook, type in Empower Teens Make Money. And this is where we really support each other with working with children, but also if you want to build a business out of this and make an income as well, that's really important too. So I would love to connect with you on that Facebook group if you are on Facebook. And if not, you can find me on Instagram and other channels as well. I appreciate the comments, guys. I really love this. Especially in Nigeria, 98% of parents don't encourage their children to make them feel authentic. As a mother, I'm putting in conscious efforts to encourage my 7-month-old toddler I love this so much. This is such a blessing to just be witnessing your comments coming through. So as I mentioned, if you're on Facebook, meet us in that Facebook group. But I guess in the next few minutes, if any of you have questions for me, you're most welcome to throw them in the chat and let me know if you want to pick my brain about anything before we wrap up today's session as well. But let me know as well if you have any questions. Children love it when they see you as their mate. They don't want to be bossed around. Love that, Christy. And remember too, when they do stuff up, we need to have the hard conversations. But at the end of the day, we are an influencer. We are a mentor for them. So we want them to come to us when they need something. But we'll wait a few seconds to see if anyone has any questions. But of course, if that's pretty much it, let me know. And I'll hand it over to the boss so he can take over the Zoom.
Hey, thanks, Lenita. Just like she said, please, if you do have questions, you could put them in the chat box. If you really like to speak, you could just use the hands up option. I would see it, I would unmute you, and then I'll allow you read out your question. But again, thank you so much, Lenita. It's been very, very, very informative and impactful. I'm making out time from Nigeria to Australia. It's just so many hours by flight. I'm making out the time anyway to join us today. All right, thank you so much. So please, if you have questions, kindly put them up on the chat. I think there are a couple of them. Lenita, you may want to just look at them and let's see how much you can respond to within the next few minutes that we have.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. We just have the Facebook group again. Okay, so Danny, it's called Empower Teens Make Money. So if you just, it's on the slide, depending on your internet connection. But if you just type that into Facebook, it's an actual group. So just request to join and we'll get you in there as well. And there are leaders from all over the world. You'll meet coaches and speakers who do phenomenal work with kids. So we support everyone in that group. Laughing with them, I make sure to always laugh with my toddler every morning before I start our day. That is such a beautiful blessing. I think laughter is the greatest, medicine as well. Sometimes when we're having a tough day, laughter is so important. It's always good when you come down to the children's level of reasoning. Don't shut them down, of course. Question: what support can a family give a teenager who has shown remorse and willing to quit smoking? Okay, what support can a family give a teenager? If anything, just sitting down and having a conversation about it. You really want to build rapport and trust and talk about the importance of health. If anything, encourage them to join you when it comes to health and fitness. We want to add something to their life before we try to eliminate the smoking. If you just tell them to stop smoking, it's too hard in the beginning. If you help them start exercise or start eating healthy or encourage them to connect with people like that, eventually they'll want to reduce the smoking out of inspiration and not force. Remember that. So I hope that helps. Fabulous Bridget. What a wonderful name. That's amazing. I sent a friend request already. Awesome. Thanks so much for that. We'll definitely connect. But if anyone, if you have questions after it, you can connect with me. We can talk and have a conversation after. But that's pretty much, Chico, could you please throw more light on the practical aspect of being responsible? Definitely. So if anything, it's sitting down and setting practical action steps for the week. So when you teach them something, get them to write down 1 or 2 action steps that they can actually apply. In terms of if it's to do with their mental health, maybe it's a gratitude list you want to help them write every day. Or maybe it's a 5-minute prayer they want to say in the morning before they start their day. But it's a matter of sitting down physically, have a conversation, and get them to write down 1 or 2 action steps for the week. And then make sure you follow up with them in the following week or few days. The follow-up's very important. So that's a practical way to be responsible for a young child. For a child who's not biologically mine, and I'm just knowing at age 14, who I can't confidently say she has had the effects of upbringings, living with me now, how can I really let go, trust her, and make the most of the time she'll be with me as to positively influence her and interact with her with my heart, not my head? Great question. I think if anything, the consistency of being present and having daily conversations with children is really, really important. We don't always have to know what to say because sometimes it's not always going to be perfect. But if you are just consistently present and helping them know that you are there and having conversations with them, eventually they'll make effort to talk to you as well. So it's just a matter of making that decision to trust and allowing her to understand that you are there when she does need you. Because if she's not approaching you right now, that doesn't mean she won't. It's just she needs to know that she feels safe with you as well. So letting go a little bit is quite important. How do you suggest a broken relationship with a teenager is rebuilt, especially when the teenager already has a hardened heart against you as a parent? If anything, that's a big one too. Being a little bit more authentic and coming down to, talking about stories, sharing a personal story from your end. It depends on the context of this as well. Depending on why this relationship is broken, maybe something has happened and you have to address, and you might need to have that hard conversation. But if anything, take time in the week to have a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate or a tea, or sit down, make it a special engagement with your child and just ask the question, what's going on? Tell me what's on your mind. Express how sad you feel about this too, and be okay with being vulnerable. Thanks, Alita. Your talk reminds me of it's a concept that adults are the weather maker in the relationship we have with children and adolescents in school, and even at home we determine the outcomes, good or bad, which at times is challenging for me, especially I'm having a bad day. Definitely we need to be quite patient with kids because sometimes they drive us crazy, but definitely, at the end of the day, you are doing a tremendous job. There's always room for improvement, but remember how great you are as a leader already, because you've shown up to this Zoom. Those leaders who don't don't care would not have come today, but you guys have. So I commend you on your work with children already, and I would love to support you in any way as well. So you know where to find me on social media. And yeah, I'm very thankful for your time today, everyone. I appreciate your comments. It's just outstanding how much you've made me feel welcome as well. So if anyone needs anything. Oh, we have another question. How do one come up with showcasing accomplishment for preschoolers since they can't read what we have on the board? All right, interesting. If anything, you can have like a little circle activity where you can actually ask them, you know, what's one thing you achieved this week, and go around in a circle and just get them to say that one thing. So you don't have to write anything on the board. Maybe come up with like a clapping game or with music, and then have each person, each child say one thing that they've achieved for the week and then clap for them. So that's a great way to accomplish and celebrate them too. So I hope that helps. If anything, yeah, of course, guys, I'll probably hand it over back to you. If anyone else needs anything in the meantime, please reach out to me on social media. But I appreciate you all definitely.
Thank you so much, Lenita, for joining us, and thank you again for the presentation. I'm sure everyone has enjoyed this session, and if we do have follow-up questions, like you've said, it will be possible for everyone to reach out to you on your different social media handles. But thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate this section. Thank you so much. Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Right environment for the healthy development of your kids, of our children. You can actually just drop something on the chat box. I need to see 2 to 3 comments, and then I'll move on from here. We can read again, and then I just need 2 to 3 comments, and we move on from here. Do we have them coming? Okay. All right. Now, we need to understand something about children. In the spirit of COVID-19, a lot has been happening. And honestly, I'm going to share some of the experiences with you. And I don't want to say these things for you to get scared or for you to feel that your children are insecure wherever you are. But we need to understand that right now, with the statistics, with the kind of reports we are getting, we are actually having a lot of reports on sexual violence. And this is actually more with perpetrators out. Anyone under the age of 18 is a child. Let me break this in. A man that forces himself on a girl that is less than 18 will say it's rape. When this is going to be tackled, they will tell you, did you seek for consent? If you say yes, they will still tell you that child is less than 18. That girl is less than 18. So please, we need to understand this. For us, we have children that are 17, that are 16. We say they are big girls. Yes, they are big girls. They are big boys. But please, we still need to understand the fact that we need to stay very close to these children. You see, there are a lot of things they're exposed to these days that even you as a parent, you as a facilitator, you as a teacher, you don't even have any idea about it. The way they surf the internet these days, you will And then when I got to the university, it was another war entirely, where at times I had to like dance in shows just to like, make some little money and all. There was a day I called my father. I said, Daddy, I've not sent me pocket money this month. He said, really? I forgot. You see, that singular act, for 2 years I was dealing with it. Because I was like, how can my father forget? And I called my other brother in school. My other brother was in Bowen University. I asked him, Daily, have you been given pocket money this month? He said, yes. And you know, I concluded, I said, my father is wicked. But the truth is, he is sad. I am also sad. Now, who should be treated fairly? I should be treated fairly as a child. Because as at that time, when I started the issue of I want to study theater arts, I was probably 10. I started dancing at the age of 10. And then when I go to shows, there was a day he saw me on TV. I lied to him. I said I was going to church. Meanwhile, I was going for a concert, but a Christian concert. And then 7 p.m., my father was listening to news. And then he saw me, NTA. I was in front, leading the dance. And then I had other people behind me. And then he called me. Whenever he calls me and he stresses that name, I know that, yes, there is war. And he said, Juwo. I rushed to the sitting room. He said, look at it. And I looked at the TV. I saw myself. And he asked me, where did you say you were going to this afternoon? I could not even say anything. I just went on my knees because the next thing is near down there. The next thing is he will remove the cord from the TV. And then I will receive that beating. Now, times have changed. Now, the reason why I asked the other time, to understand what I am going through at this moment. How old is that boy? 11. That boy is 11. And we asked him, what do you want to become in future? He said, I want to become a soldier. Why? So that all the people that are killing my people, I will go and kill them. Now, this is a child that is making decisions. But these are decisions that was also made by some people that has gone a long way to affect his existence. Now, we had to go through a lot of therapy. We had to involve him in a lot of activities for his mindset, for us to correct in a little way that mindset of his. We need to, because at that point, we need to actually show him that becoming a soldier is not for you to revenge, but you can actually protect your country. He said, yes. He said by protecting the country, he has to go and kill those that killed his own father and mother. Another point, in fact, that day I was broken because I've been handling cases. But you see this, I was touched. And this is just because some parents made some decision by joining a sect while they did not put the children in their environment into consideration. And we need to understand, you see, some of these children, they are also affected by the atrocities of their parents. We see on the TV, we read, and we understand some of these things. Now, another one is making rights real. Governments must do all they can to make sure that every child in their countries can enjoy all the rights in this convention. I'm going to share the link of the convention because we have up to 40. Now, I want to believe that we have some people that are working with the government here, and I want to believe that we have people that can actually influence decisions to an extent. What is our government doing? Are they really paying attention to our children? Are they paying attention to their needs? Do they understand what it means to have children in the society? This is a big question that I need everyone to answer at their own convenient time and to also probably discuss with people. Now, number 5, family guidance as children develop. Governments should let families and communities guide their children so that as they grow up, they learn to use their rights in the best way. The more children grow, the less guidance they will need. I'm going to use a school as an example. In schools these days, you see a child, probably because he's stubborn, the teacher will ask him, come. And then the next thing, the teacher will slap him. Wow. And then after receiving the slap, and the boy wants to talk, and then you hear he's a bad boy. He's talking back at his teacher. The truth is, are you supposed to slap a child? Now, I used to say this thing, when my son grows up, I will to actually put these things. We have child right law. How many states are actually making sure that every school, every parastatal have this child right law? How many? How many? We need to answer that question. Now, this is the link for you to access the Child Rights Convention. We have a lot, and by the time you read through, even you as a parent, you as a facilitator, you as a guardian, I'm sure there are some places you look at yourself and you say, oh, no, I've not been doing well here. You can use it to assess yourself, actually. You can read some of those conventions and ask yourself, have you been doing well in this? Have you not been doing well in this? Now, let's move to forms of violence against children. Now, I need us to be very attentive. Violence against children take many forms, including physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, and may involve neglect or deprivation. Violence occurs in many things. Now, including the home. Please, I'm going to stress this. Most perpetrators of rape, most perpetrators of sexual abuse, they are always within. It is very hard for someone to come all the way from Kwara State to Lagos to come and abuse. Well, it is very easy for a neighbor to abuse. It is very easy for an uncle to abuse. Let me cite an example. There is a case in Ebonyi State at the moment. A 62-year-old man raped a girl, and when he was arrested, after asking him, why did you do this? Please listen. He said, I was sleeping and the baby was beside me. And all of a sudden, she turned and used her body to touch me. And at that point, I could not control myself again. And then I slept with her. And then I'm sure right now some people will say, oh, they need to castrate him. That man needs to be castrated. What? For the Nigerian law, 14 years maximum. Some people will go and still come back and they will still repeat the same things. So what am I saying in essence? It is your job as a parent. It is your job as teachers. It is your job as facilitators. It is your job as guardians to pay extra attention to these children. Now, school. The school is another big problem these days. You see teachers molesting children. Let me give you an example. There was this teacher some years ago. In fact, the secondary school I attended. Whenever he wants to punish children, he will call them, he will tell them to line up. He teaches English. He will tell them to line up one after the other. And then, if you fail, if you score than 5, you are in trouble. They will line up one after the other. He will close the door to his office. And then ask them to come in one after the other. Ask them to remove their shorts. And then he will pick papers from the bin and stash it into their trousers or shorts. At some point, he started touching them. And he said he was actually correcting them. I was the head boy. I got to know. But trust, we looked for a way to inform the proprietress. They found out that it was real and he was sacked at school years ago. Now, a teacher who should be better informed perpetrating these things. Now, let's look at the community. Yes, people will say a child is the child of the community. The community can also help you take care of your children. Yes, but let me tell you, there are some people in that community that they are waiting for your boy to walk anyhow. They are waiting for your girl to walk anyhow. It is your job. It is your job to pay maximum, let me use the word, maximum attention to these kids. Violence on children.
Sorry, John, allow me to interrupt you briefly. A few people have dropped some comments on the chat. I don't know if you want to take the questions now, but there have been a few questions on the chat, so you may want to just look at them, and some from me too. Sorry, and I think we lost you sharing your screen also, so we couldn't see that again.
I should share my screen?
Yeah, well, there's a comment on you sharing your screen. There's a chat from me, and there's
really?
a chat from a few people. Yes.
Okay, all right. Can we see the screen now?
Yes, we can.
All right. So, I'm sorry. Let me start from a Okay, effects of domestic violence on children, right? And for the questions, I'll come to the question. I won't rush this, and then I'll come to the question. We'll pick them one after the other, and then we answer them. Effects of domestic violence on children. Many children exposed to violence in the homes are also victims of physical abuse. Now, children who witness domestic violence or are victims of abuse themselves are at serious risk for long-term physical and mental health problems. Second one, children who witness violence between parents may also be at greater risk of being violent in their future relationships. If you're a parent who is experiencing abuse, it can be difficult to know how to protect your child. Now, we have different forms of violence. I may not be able to go into everything because that will take only God knows forever. But I'm sure we can see this. And this will be shared. We will have it. And then what are the short-term effects of domestic violence or abuse on children? Children in preschool. We need to pick this. Young children who witness intimate partner violence may start doing things they used to do when they were younger, such as bedwetting, thumb sucking, increased crying, and whining. They may also develop difficulty falling or staying asleep, show signs of terror, such as stuttering or hiding, and show signs of severe separation anxiety and low self-esteem. Now, school-aged children. Children in this age range may feel guilty about the abuse and blame themselves for it. Domestic violence and abuse hurts children's self-esteem. It's coming again. They may not participate in school activities or get good grades, have fewer friends than others, and get into trouble more often. They also may have a lot of headaches and stomach aches. Now, to the last one. Teens. Now, a lot of people say they are teenagers, they are grown, they are this, they are that. Now, listen. Teens who witness abuse may act out in negative ways, such as fighting with family members or skipping school. They may also engage in risky behaviors, such as having unprotected sex and using alcohol or drugs. They may have low self-esteem the third time and have trouble making friends. They may start fights or bully others and are more likely to get in trouble with law. This type of behavior is more common in teen boys who are abused in childhood than in teen girls. Girls are more likely than boys to be withdrawn and to experience depression. I know a lot of us have heard stories about abuse. Some have been abused by mates. I'm not going to be shocked. Even some of us right now, we've experienced it at some point in time. How did we move on? How hard was it for us to move on? Have we been able to accept these things as part of us? Have we been able to move on and say, I'm going to protect children? Now, these are issues. They are still happening. And they will continue to happen unless we try to create a culture of speaking out. So most children that are abused, most children that are abused sexually, most of them have this culture of silence. They don't speak up. And you see, the more they keep quiet about it, the more it goes a long way to affect them. So please, wherever you are, whatever you do, it may be hard for a child to tell you these things, but you can look out for signs. When you see a child keeping to him or herself, engage. Don't even go straight to the point. Discuss a lot of things with them. Let them open up. By the time they trust you, they will start telling you things. They will start giving you signals. Some may not even say it. There's something I do. When I see a child having difficulties to express some things to me, I bring a sheet of paper and a pencil. I tell the child, draw anything. And then the child will be free. That child will draw. And after drawing, I'll tell the child, please come and explain these things to me. You see, from those things that child is explaining to you, please, you need to be very attentive. From a lot of things that child is explaining to you, please you need to be very careful with details when you're working with children. They are going to be pouring out a lot. They will be telling you a lot. I've seen a child draw a goat and a tree. And after probing, she said, today I was raped. My mother asked me to go and look for my goat. And while I was going, the elderly man raped me under the tree. Now, this is just tree and goat. But because you've been able to, the next question is,